let me get this. Okay, no, that's all. Everything's working. All right. We're being recorded. Oh my God! All right. Since the last time we talked, the headlines you hit. Obama's got an executive order that basically the government can come in and take your property, your food, anything they want in case of a national emergency. Now, when I did made the true face of FEMA over 10 years ago, I stated that the Colonel John Brinkerhoff was lecturing law enforcement. He said we were in for a long war. This war was maybe longer than the Cold War, and the enemy was weak, so they didn't have tanks and trains and tanks and planes and bombers and helicopters, so they were going to use unconventional means, and the government had to go around them. I think he was talking about the American people.
Oh, yeah.
Or the people all over the world. I mean, when we sent troops into Iraq, I said, I think they're practicing for here. And now we've got NDAA, which just slipped right in there. No, National Defense Authorization. Yeah, we do this every year, but this year we're going to be able to send the troops in to pick people like Bill Samsel and Clay Douglas. We can pick them up.
Yes, sir.
We can pick them up, and we can put them in a stockade or in Guantanamo. What an appropriate place to have a prison with no appeal and no lawyers, huh? In Cuba.
Of course, yeah.
So what's happening, Bill? What do you see going on? And in the second half, we'll see if we've got some answers. But let's try to identify what you see is going wrong now. I say that what is happening in the mainstream and in everyday life is divide and conquer. They want to put us up into groups, the blacks against white. Well, those white folks, they brought you up here. They just don't happen to mention that the Jews own the ships, and it's we're supporting a foreign country here. I mean, I took an oath to support the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. Isn't treason still, isn't that still a crime? Isn't that still a hanging offense? Isn't that, what's going on here? What do you see?
You would think so. When Obama came out with this NDAA thing, that was a shock, to me anyway. And then last Friday, when he came out and signed that executive order, it's a total power grab. It's a takeover. I mean, the war on terror is a war on the American people, and that's what they need to wake up to.
I have said that the war on terror is a war against anybody, anywhere in the world that doesn't want to go along with one world banking, one world government of the banksters, by the banksters, and for the banksters.
Exactly.
If you're against the banksters, hey, we'll start calling you Al Qaeda. We were kind of successful in turning people to having people look at McCarthyism than communism. But hey, we got Al Qaeda for an enemy now.
Oh yeah, well, Al CIA-da, you mean?
That's
Al CIA-da, yeah, Al CIA-da. Because it's the U.S. government. I mean, this is where Al Qaeda came from. It was a creation of the U.S. government. So, anybody that speaks out, anybody who does not agree with them, anybody who writes anything that is critical of them, you're going to be a target. And I've asked myself, I've had my website out for now about a year now, and I just started doing this radio show. And I said to myself, well, this is a good question. You could ask Clay. I could ask Clay this question. Why do we put ourselves out there? Why do we shoot off our mouths and put ourselves out there with a big target painted on us? Because we know that these people are looking, are checking to find people like us to put us out of business. And when they do, that's going to be the kickoff right there, because the day that they go around arresting all of, the Alex Joneses and the Clay Douglases and the Bill Samsels, that'll be the day that I think the American people wake up. What do you think?
Well, I have told people for years, I am the canary in the coal mine.
Mm-hmm.
I am the canary in the coal mine here. Mm-hmm. And when they come after me, it's just a matter of time until they come after you.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I get going sometimes on that program, on my show, and I get going. So, yeah, there's a lot of things that I say that they're not going to like, and that's going to upset Uncle Sam. So, but we do it. We do it because we love America. We do it because we were raised in a different country. America today is not the America that we were raised in, Clay. You and I were raised in a different country than we're living in now. And I think that's one of the things that pushes me to go out there and try to spread the message and wake people up.
Well, with me, it started at Waco. Before Waco, Bill, I got up in the morning. I turned on the television. I watched Bryant Gumbel and Katie Couric. I read the Miami Herald that was sitting on my porch. And I owned businesses. I had boats. I had a nice house on a canal. I was pretty pleased. I thought it was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And
then you turned around and started doing what you're doing now, right?
Yes. And suddenly, I find this strange. I find this real strange.
Uh-huh.
I started the militias, and suddenly all of these Jewish groups, ADL, Southern Poverty Law, are attacking me.
Oh yeah, you open your mouth and say things that they don't want people to hear. Of course, yeah. And I bet you they attack you pretty vigorously as well.
I have had corporations. I'm just putting up on my website. I've got CRD Publishing. I did this plan after my accident. I mean, before my accident, everything was going well. I had money coming in. I had the ability to travel. 20,000 people a month were reading my magazines.
Cool.
And even after the accident, I still had an audience of 10,000 people. And somebody comes up and threatens me. Now, are these people the government? Are they the ADL? Are they APAC? I mean, I've had everything that we've started here. A Jewish group, some Jewish people have moved in and destroyed it. They tore everything down. One was a club that had been in Tucson for 40 years, which used to distribute my magazine. They were an outlet for my magazine. They got a bundle of magazines every month. But when I came here in person, suddenly nobody wanted to hear me. Nobody wanted to see me. They didn't want me to. Clay, you'd just be so much better. We'd be so much better off if you just didn't talk about the Jews or marijuana. You should. It's on the ballot. Medical marijuana is on the ballot in Arizona, and you don't want me to talk about it? What the hell is wrong with these people?
Mm-hmm.
And but also, Bill, the patriots don't understand. Oh, Clay. We just can't support Clay because he's so pro pot. He's so into marijuana. Yeah. Hey, the communists stole $1 billion crop after the 30s, after the 33, after America was declared bankrupt. Our farmers couldn't grow the crop that was used to make the paper their Constitution and Bill of Rights and American flag were made out of.
Exactly. Well, the pot thing, the marijuana thing, of course, that a multi-billion-dollar business. And you know, if pot was legal today, there are over 500 different products, probably more than that, different products that can be derived from the hemp plant.
But now those products are available for you. Those products are available for you if you want to buy it from communist China.
Exactly. You can buy it overseas, but not here.
Well, you could go now. We've almost got the North American Union, and if you go in to if you go into Canada, well, they grow it right up there. But our farmers can't grow it. Why?
No. It would be a positive for the people in this country. A whole new industry, a whole new source of taxes, of revenue, a whole new source of jobs, people going to work. Making the marijuana illegal, keeping it illegal, just feeds into their phony drug war. You start looking at the drug war, and you come away from your search with the understanding that the American government is part of the drug culture. They're the suppliers of many of these drugs. Why do you think we're in Afghanistan? Why do you think they're protecting the poppy fields in Afghanistan, a multi-billion-dollar cocaine and heroin industry? If you want to make something, if you want to fight drugs, you ought to be going up against the cocaine dealers.
I'm sorry. We can't allow you to do that, because I have documented in my book, Mystery Babylon, that the CIA was bringing the cocaine in, the Mossad were bringing the cocaine in, the Mossad's bringing the ecstasy in, and of course the BATF is supplying the CIA drug runners with weapons to kill Border Patrol agents.
Right, and they're all in on it. And we're not supposed to know that. The public isn't supposed to know that. So,
that's why the CIA threatened me almost 40 years ago? 30 years ago, excuse me.
Oh yeah.
And
no, they go ahead.
The one of the people that have been on my show, they've got some documentaries out, and they're asking why Southern Poverty Law now says that there's almost 2,000 new patriot groups out there. Since when is being a patriot a bad thing?
Well, if you're an American patriot and you support the Constitution, then you are the enemy of the people that are now in power, the powers that be. These people are not concerned about America, about preserving America, about patriotism. These people are our enemies. They are enemies of the American people. Anybody who carries a little Constitution in their pocket, anybody who has a Ron Paul sticker on a bumper of his car, anybody who has a little Gadsden flag, on their automobile or what have you, well, you are a terrorist, because you believe in things that we are looking to eradicate. We're going to get rid of these things. We're going to change that Constitution. We're going to have a North American Union. We're going to be part of a global community. So, of course, anybody who believes in the Constitution, who believes in the Bill of Rights and our freedoms and liberties, you are going to be targeted, yes. In the new America, that's the America with a K. See, America with a K. and I'm not going to surrender to it. I'm not going to what's the word I'm looking for? Conform. You know, I'm not going to simply shut up and conform. I'm going to shoot my mouth off, and ultimately, I would imagine that I'm going to get taken away at some point, because it's coming, and we need to realize that. And I'm thinking months. I mean, I'm thinking before the end of the year, the doo-doo is going to hit the fan in this country. I could be wrong. It could be maybe next year or the year after, but it's going to happen, and it's going to happen soon. That's my opinion, and I think you would agree with me.
I would, and what I see us moving towards is basically what happened, and Americans don't know about this, and they don't understand that 60 million people just like them here in America.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking about white Christian people that happened to live in Russia.
Mm-hmm.
They were our friends. They were our supporters. And they murdered 60 million of them. They starved 10 million in Ukraine alone. That's like going in and starving 10 million people in Kansas.
How many people in this country are going to starve? That's my question. How many people in America are going to starve because they can't get food?
If all they got to do to make Americans starve or turn to crime is cut off the food stamps.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't take the chip that is written into this Obama health bill that everybody is so excited about or upset about or interested in, and they don't even understand. They're saying, here's the mark of the beast, guys. Here's the mark of the beast.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. No, people don't understand that our country was taken over years and years ago. I look at the Kennedy assassination, and I think that's when the CFR and the Trilateral Commission,
Yep.
CSR, after Kennedy, they flooded into the White House. And
the person, remember, folks, I've got the bill in my pocket. The Kennedy issued by Executive Order 11110 United States notes. I've got a United States note in my pocket. The first thing that Johnson did on the plane going back to Washington after taking the oath of office was recall all of that money, all of those bills. And it says right across the top of it, United States note. It's got a green seal, not a red seal.
Mm-hmm.
Or vice versa.
Exactly.
But and by the way, it was my friend Galen Dougherty was sitting on the railroad bridge when he was 17 years old over Elm Avenue and saw the two suits shoot Kennedy from either side of the railroad bridge.
Mm-hmm.
I gave him hell about it. I said, "How come you never told me, Box? How come you never told me?" He goes, "I wanted to live." Now, Debbie Lewis just sent me this email. She says, spring is rolled around again, and Mark Potok and the Southern Poverty Law Center has released yet another intelligence report listing active patriot groups for the past year. Nothing new here, but one could hope, at least this year, they've done their homework and the list would contain actual groups. Not so. Once again, the SPLC's list contains feature films, film companies, websites, and radio programs. Still on the list are William Lewis, and Debbie Lewis was just on my show. William Lewis has been targeted. He is too ill to even do a radio show. He was targeted on an airplane flying out. His film releases are Camp FEMA, Don't Tread on Me, and he's got a activist website, not a group, a website, just as I do, freeamerican.com, And Lewis's website is Take Back Washington. His film company, William Lewis Films, still consisting of 2 people, not a group, yet the list still contains Gary Franchi's website, Restore the Republic, Texas' own Brave Books, a bookstore for crying out loud. It still contains John Stadmiller's internet radio. New to the list this year is Joyce Riley's programs, the Power Hour, and Alex Jones' information site, Info Wars. Welcome to the clubs of groups that aren't groups. And she says, I'm still waiting for an answer to this very important question. What's so wrong with being a patriot, one of our founding fathers' patriots? Is a patriot someone who shows love and devotion to his country?
Well, I would imagine, yes. Yeah.
Maybe that's where the difference... Go ahead.
There was a news report that I remember seeing last week, and I can't recall it exactly, but it was something to the effect that the government, the CIA, is now going through lists of radio talk shows, and they've been bugging and listening into radio talk shows lately because they're starting to get nervous about all this. We're starting to make a difference here. There's enough of us now out there trying to inform the public that we're making a difference, and that's getting them all upset, and that's something that they don't like. So they're investigating now. They're checking out people who call talk shows. They're checking out talk show hosts. They're checking out websites, and they're making their list and checking it twice. And
they're going
to come after us. Oh yeah.
They have bought my ISPs. I for years I had my website on an ISP out of Oregon. They bought that ISP, ran it for 2 months, stole everything, shut the ISP down, and locked it up so nobody that had a website on there could get to their website.
Okay.
Took me 2 months to find the right codes, get the right codes, and get back on.
So you were down for 2 months?
Yes.
Oh man.
And remember the accident that I was in after the story broke in New York Times about George Bush allowing the NSA to tap everybody's phones. I called home on my AT&T cell phone that I had had since the beginning, and said, "Where do you need me to go next, son? Where are you, Dad?" North side of Phoenix, Shaker Skin Tattoo Parlor. Go down 24th Street to McDowell, turn left, go to the wheel shop. It's right there. Okay, see you later. 2 blocks before McDowell. I'm run over, I'm hit by somebody, I'm the only motorcyclist on the street. Clear day, beautiful day, early in the morning, a woman hit me hard enough to roll a Road King motorcycle over me sideways 3 times, smashed my head against the curb. And they they rushed me to the hospital and told the doctors, man, this guy fought us all the way. He didn't want to get on the ambulance, didn't want to get on a stretcher, didn't want to get in the ambulance. Doctor said, it's a good thing he did that, kept the blood flowing into his brain. And then they kept me drugged into oblivion. I've got no memory of 3 months in 3 hospitals. Now, my family says, well, they saved your life. No, they didn't. They tried to kill me. They fed me Halcyon, Haldol, Valium. They're doing this to a lot of people. They're putting them in rest homes and nursing homes, in hospitals, and they start feeding them drugs. That's what they tried to do to me. And I ended up walking out and saying, hey, man, the only medicine I'm taking from now on is a joint and a Harley. That's it.
Well, but they didn't shut you up, did they? They didn't succeed to shutting you up, have they? You're still out there doing your thing, man.
Well, right? Almost, except I got no money to run this week. Got no money, got no income, it's not selling, the books aren't selling because my website's blocked in every library around the country. And they didn't even list the Free American, which has been around for 20 years, which was there in the Armed and Dangerous report, but that was when I was powerful and reaching people. And so they started demonizing me. Today, they don't even want to give me the advertising. They'd rather send you to Alex Jones, who never talks about the Jews.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's going to get worse. I hate to say it, but it's going to get worse. Everything's going to get worse. I mean, people are hurting in this country. People are hurting in this country. Nobody cares. Nobody cares.
Well, by the way, let's see, Lewis, going back to Debbie's release. I mean, like I said, William Lewis has been hospitalized, and he's been sick. He says, she says, since Camp FEMA is on that list, you know, and she also said, we are patriots. We do love our country. We support our government and its original interest. What we don't support are government officials who do not uphold their mandated oath of office and cannot follow our founding documents. These very same officials choose to subvert our freedoms and continually pass legislation that binds our population, not at all the purpose intended by the constitutional framers. And the Camp FEMA and Enemy of the State exposed legislation and more about FEMA and some of the nefarious issues about this disaster relief. Oh, in case of a single outbreak of smallpox in a major metropolitan area, Colonel John Brinkerhoff says on my film, True Face of FEMA, we'll need 400,000 well-armed, well-trained, organized, disciplined troops to control the American people. Because some of them just won't follow orders. And now the same thing could happen in the case of a major earthquake along the New Madrid fault line, or a nuclear attack or something like that. If a nuclear bomb is set off, we need 400,000 people. If we got a single case outbreak of smallpox, we'd have to round the people up and make sure they're vaccinated. We've got to give them, and some of them just don't want to stand in line in Kmart to get that vaccination, you know.
That's right.
And he's asked,
want that vaccination.
He's asked, are you talking about National Guard? And he said, no, they're too expensive. They're going to be over in Afghanistan or Iraq or someplace. No, we need a cheap source. We need a cheap source of well-armed, well-trained, organized, disciplined troops. And that's the Home Guard. That's the brown church he's trying to set up. That could be the Chinese troops that are already here in these setting up these commerce centers up in Idaho.
Commerce centers.
Are you aware of that?
Unbelievable. These people, the states are giving highways away to foreign companies to come in and take over the highways and put tolls on all of our highways. How do you think that's going to affect the American people? I mean, this is just getting it's a twilight zone. You know, when I read the headlines on my radio show, I play the Twilight Zone theme. Because we're living in the Twilight Zone here. It's like, have you seen the movie They Live?
Yes.
They Live, the one where the guy puts on the sunglasses.
Yes.
And he looks around and he can see through, he sees the signs and he sees the monsters running around, you know. Nobody else can see it, but he can see it.
But you know, the Bible.
That's where you and I are. That's you and me. I mean,
we can see it.
We see it.
Well,
Go ahead.
We can see it. Well, you're right. We can see it. And you know, these people out there. I mean, they basically you've got what would have been called demons. You know, people are being possessed by the devil. You're seeing that kind of thing actually happen to people. There's a lot of people that have been so dumbed down and so programmed